I'm not an author yet. This is stage one. I'm a storyteller. There are days where I feel very overwhelmed by, and I start cursing myself. It's a lot has changed after I've become a mom, because now the focus, if I'm not working, is my daughter. Both of us want to be extremely hands-on parents, and both of us want to keep the fire alive as actors, entertainers, and storytellers.
Hi Alia, welcome to The Quint, and thank you for making the time.
Thank you so much.
Firstly, congratulations on the book. The book is called Ed Finds Her Home. Where and when does Alia feel most at home?
Oh, very good question. I feel most at home with my family.
Yeah.
With my daughter, with my husband, my mom, my sister, my father, my mother. My whole family feels like home.
Alia, you're somebody who dons so many hats, right? From an entrepreneur to a producer, an actor, of course, and now an author. We here kind of doing one job, find it so overwhelming sometimes. How do you kind of really, manage all of it together?
I have to first also say I'm not an author yet. And this is stage one. I'm a storyteller because I have a collaborative team on this with Vivek Kamath and Shabnam. And my sister said it yesterday that if you don't do it twice, then you're not an author. So let's wait for book 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Which will happen.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. And honestly, it's a good question, because there are days where I feel very overwhelmed by, and I start cursing myself only, saying that you are only deciding to do all this, then you can't have a problem with it. And a lot of the time actually goes in me managing my schedule. Yeah. But I'm really the word is hyper specific about time management. So I'm taking a lot of meetings while I'm on my way to work and commuting. Yeah. In fact, nowadays I'm also doing meetings while I'm doing cardio and cycling and all of that. And I'm apologizing in advance, saying sorry if I'm huffing or puffing, but I'm all here and I'm all there. I think time management is everything, but I have to say it's not it happens easily and I'm just kind of flowing through it.
Yeah.
There are days I get very overwhelmed with it and I pick myself up and say you have to do it because you want to do it. So just do it and don't complain.
Yeah. But then how do you kind of carve time for yourself, between all of this?
So obviously a lot has changed after I've become a mom, because now the focus, if I'm not working, is my daughter. Currently, it's not I'm missing time for myself. Because a lot of times if I'm on set, that is time for myself. Even though I'm giving myself to something external, it's a big part of who I am. So I consider that time for myself.
Yeah.
In fact, now I think that earlier when I didn't have Raha, what would I do with all my time? When I was not working, then I think about, you were actually working way more, and you would fill your time really to the brim.
Yeah.
But even if I had a day off, what would I do? I would get so bored. Even if it's free time for her, for me it's just the best time.
Yeah, yeah. So did anything kind of influence, or any instances that you picked up from your childhood as you went on to tell this story?
Yeah. A lot of the things. I think, again, a lot of the inputs came from Vivek and from Shabnam. But there was a lot of me energy in it. For example, there's a moment in the beginning of the book only where you say there's a dog, he's on a beach, he looked sad and he looked lonely, and overall at this house, mother was working, father was cooking, and there was this little girl and she too looked lonely. And it's not I felt I was lonely as a kid, but if you ask my friends, I was always I used to walk around on my own a lot, and I used to do a lot of the things on my own because I was always in my head. So there was a part of me that used to to kind of sit by myself and just be with my imagination, and I would imagine a lot of things of instances and conversations that would happen with imaginary people in the room. So I was acting out things a lot, but it was in my own world.
Yeah.
So we gave that as a superpower to the girl in the book, where she can talk to animals and she can talk to maybe even trees. As the books proceed, you'll see she talks to her environment. That is her world. There's a moment in the book as well where we're talking about the girl being distracted by a crow in the classroom. That would be me a lot. I would be distracted by various things outside the window. I peppered it at least with my friends' names, Kanchi and Bobby, whose food I would genuinely eat a lot. There has to be a joke. If you look away for 1 second and you give Alia our dabba, and you look away, then the dabba is over. So they stop giving me things, and I used to never share my food. So there are these little things which I can't really It only comes after really feeling with it and living with the material.
Yeah, right. You know, when I say the word childhood, what's the first memory that kind of pops into your head?
My grandfather. Also, because maybe we're talking about the book, and it's his influence on me as a child was so meaningful. Not like my mother or my father's influence was not meaningful, but there's a different layer that he added to my imagination and my creative sort of adventurous side.
Wow.
He was just so creative when it came to entertaining a child and like really knowing how to talk to a child. So my real childhood memories are full of his storytelling and me entertaining him and my grandmother in return. I used to put up dances for them and stuff like that, and they used to look forward to it every time. I used to come home every Sunday and they used to like clap for me, and like I really feel like my encouragement for being an actor, being an entertainer started from there.
Right. You know, Ali, the other thing is when we look at our parents or, you know, the people before them, like our grandparents, right? There's always been these defined roles that a woman is a nurturer, a man is a provider, whereas today it's a very different world, right? A woman can be a worker, a nurturer, a provider, everything.
Absolutely.
And a man has also somewhere assumed the role of a provider and a nurturer, right? How important do you think it is to have a partner that is as supportive? Because we have seen Ranveer's pictures and, you know, all of you together, and he really looks like so hands-on.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know, what is your thing, like how important is the role of a partner being supportive as you go out and work? And for other women?
It's about what choice you make as an individual, forget gender. So a woman can choose to be working outside their house. That's their choice, and they deserve support there. Or a woman could choose to work inside their house, because being a homemaker is also extremely challenging and extremely demanding. A woman deserves support on both fronts. Likewise, a man deserves support on both fronts. Like, I don't think there should be a defined role for anybody.
Absolutely.
You should define your own role. And speaking about my setup and my equation, again, it's so naturally comes to us that both of us want to be extremely hands-on parents, and both of us want to keep the fire alive as actors, entertainers, and storytellers. So we need to be there for each other. And when you talk about the pictures of Ranveer and Raha and stuff, genuinely, like, it makes my heart so full as a mother to see them have this special bond, and it makes his heart so full to see me and Raha have that bond. I think the idea of 50-50 parenting or 60, I mean, whatever works for you, it's what you should do as a family. But in general, I think it's so important for just the society to be aware that nobody should be judged for their choices that they make. Say a woman is traveling and she's not at home, but the father's at home or something like that. There's the thing, but you're traveling for so long, how will it happen? Not like it's happened with me. I've just seen it happen in other circumstances or issues. There's a preconceived notion that only one can be the nurturer and one can be the provider.
Absolutely.
But I feel nurturing is ongoing, and nurturing for yourself is also ongoing.
And very important.
Very
Otherwise,
important.
how are you going to nurture your child?
Yeah, like, so I'm 31 today. My mom is still nurturing me. My father's still nurturing. I still learn on a day-to-day basis, and vice versa. Like, I think they learn from us as well. So yeah, I think, without being too like serious about it, you just have to choose what works for you. But support from all sides is important. From husband to wife, from wife to husband, from parents to daughter, from parents to son, from in-laws to. It's just very important to support each other's vision and also be like practical about your time and your time management as well.
When I leave my house, I know the guilt that kind of flows into me, right? Whether single, whether with a partner, the working mom's guilt is just something else that we're constantly fighting.
Absolutely. And it's not related to anyone else. So like, I know for a fact, like, when I leave the house, and even though I know, say, for example, Ranveer's at home, or if Ranveer's not there, her grandparents at home, something with her, I'm only looking for the next moment that I'm heading back. And likewise with Ranveer, like, when I see him rush home, like, it's like literally like a tornado has entered the house because he just wants to run and go right to Raha's room. I see the urgency and body language even with the grandparents or my sister. Like, when you have so much love and affection, of course it's very different when it comes to being a parent. But when you have so much love and affection for that little being, you just want to be with them all the time. That's the most normal inner calling.
That's true, But thank you so much for talking to me, Alia, and good luck and congratulations again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.